I'm Johnny Massacre and welcome to my world. Tonight, huge news. Rupert Lowe is running for Prime Minister in 2029 to become the UK Prime Minister. Who is with me? Give me a hell yeah! So I have not been this excited since Donald Trump won the election in 2024. The only man who can save the UK, the only man who can deport and re-migrate all the third world migrants from the Middle East and the Horn of Africa is running for Prime Minister. This is the only guy who can save the UK. The UK is on its last legs, and unless there's big change and pronto, it's never coming back. So yesterday, Rupert Lowe announced he's going to run to be Prime Minister, and he's the guy who can fix it. Now, this guy's like the British gentlemanly version of Donald Trump. That is what the guy is like. Everything he says about how to fix the country is bang on. He can't be bought. He's got loads of money. He donates his salary to charity, just like Donald Trump. He's extremely hardline on immigration, and he is as British as they come. So tonight, my friends, you will learn why Rupert Lowe is the man to save the United Kingdom. You're also going to learn what his new political party is and how to join them. And you're also going to learn, and this is very important, why Reform UK is not the answer to saving Britain, and why they'll just kick the can down the road if we vote them in. So this is the tipping point, my friends. It is now or never. Last chance saloon, cuzzy wuzzy wuzzy. And I think never count the Brits out, bruv, because we'll absolutely smash you. Rupert Lowe is running for Prime Minister, and he started his own political party. What is the name of that political party? It is Restore Britain. It's very apt I've spoken to Churchill right now, because this is all about the resurrection of the UK. So first of all, cuzzy wuzzy, let me show you why Rupert Lowe is the man to save England. Let me show you what Rupert Lowe is going to do if you vote him into power. Here is a selection of Rupert Lowe's posts on X. And you tell me, bruv, if this isn't the guy to save the UK. He says, go to the places where the Uslim grape gangs were operating. It's not even multiculturalism in some areas. There is one culture, Islam. They do not want to live by the same rules as the rest of us. They choose not to be policed as the rest of us. What has that led to? We all know. Britain increasingly resembles the third world. And with demographic changes, birth rates and immigration transforming our country as they are, that is a process which will only accelerate unless drastic action is taken. He goes on to say, the backlash for stating these obvious facts is aggressive, so MPs don't want to do it. The intimidation works, it's effective, but I don't need the job. I don't need the money. I'm just going to carry on telling the truth. Let's continue to kick this shit out of the Overton window. So we're just warming up. This is why Rupert Lowe is the man to save the UK. He says, politicians must have the courage to say what is evidently true. There is a link between these savage grape gangs and a particular religion. He said it, not me. Don't shoot the messenger, cuzzy wuzzy wuzzy. Islam, he says. We owe it to the survivors to be brutally honest with the British people. Okay, what else has he said on X? He said, reading how this Afghan illegal migrant approached the 12-year-old while she was playing on the swings, and so on and so on and so on, there was an attack. He said, men from these cultures where this evil is accepted should not be welcomed in Britain. We need to not only stop the flow, but also remove the barbarians already within the gates. I could not give a single shit about whatever lies they tell to remain in Britain. It doesn't matter. If they hate their way of life so much, deport them all. Can you feel Britain being saved yet? Because I can. Another post from Rupert Lowe, proving why he's the man to save Britain. He said the Afghan small boat migrant found guilty of grape, abduction and actual say assault and taking an indecent video of an old Earl Gay shouldn't be deported. He should receive the death penalty. Sign me up, cuzzy. He also said we're spending $9 billion in the next 5 years on climate finance for the developing world. It's a piss take. The number should be 0. I don't care what happens in Pakistan or whatever else. It's not our problem. Our problem is Britain and the British people. Rupert Lowe says if he's Prime Minister, people would go to prison for the Chagos deal. Oh yeah. Rupert Lowe in another post on the 31st of January said Britain needs mass deportation scheme that proportionately removes far more illegals than what Trump is delivering. Do I need to show you more? He talked about the migrant hotel contracts where migrants are coming into England who are being taken care of, their food, their shelter is being paid for. He said the most striking thing reading through all these migrant hotel contracts, these men from Syria, Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Albania, Eritrea, Sudan have broken into our country. The Home Office goes to painstaking lengths to ensure their comfort. Every angle you could possibly imagine is covered, hundreds and hundreds of pages dedicated to providing from them. Billions of our tax spent on accommodating them. Not our own people, but these third world criminals. Everything is focused on caring for them. I detest it. This is all to line them up to claim refugee status. It's one giant scam. We're all paying for it. I absolutely hate it. We must abolish the entire asylum system and deliver mass deportations on a scale that would make Trump blush. So can you see why this is the guy to save the UK? He said, BBC reports that roughly 55% of British Pakistanis are married to their first cousins. Don't shoot the messenger. Rupert Lowe says, we're supposed to pretend that's all right? No, it's insane. And it should be banned out. Keep it coming, Rupert. Rupert says, to people defending cousin marriage because they're scared of offending certain Muslim communities in which it's so incredibly common, you are pathetic. He says to sack the entire Home Office. He says he doesn't want third world criminals in the UK. He wants them deported, all of them, all cap. He says London does increasingly resemble the third world and is certainly not safe for women. And so on and so on and so on. He talks about Pakistan, Albania, Syria, Afghanistan, Eritrea, Somalia. He says our system should discriminate against these people. And he said the evidence is overwhelming. It would be even more convincing if we were told the truth. Immigration should benefit one group and one group only, the British people. We must discriminate to achieve that. I make no apologies for saying so. So that is a choice selection I put together for you to show you that Rupert Lowe is the British gentlemanly Trump. And if he gets the reins of power, he's going to do to the UK what Trump is doing to America, completely closing the border and deporting all illegal migrants and deporting tons of legal, in inverted commas, migrants that the Uniparty brought in order to essentially get access to your tax dollars and launder that money back to themselves, washing it clean through NGOs that take care of migrants. So now that you are aware of why Rupert Lowe is the man for the job, let's look at Rupert Lowe's official video where he has announced his new party, Restore Britain. Now, after this, I'm going to show you the rival party that's supposed to be the right-wing party, that's supposed to be the party of deportations, called Reform, and I'm going to show you why they're absolute liars and why you should not vote for them. And we're going to get that in a second. Let's look at this video with Rupert Lowe. He's going to explain all of his policies going forward and why he's running for Prime Minister. Into my veins with this cuzzy wuzzy. Official video. Here we go.
I have chosen to speak to you today from the farm because places like this represent what proper Britain is about. Hard work, responsibility, effort, duty. This is the England I know, and this is the England that I love. On a farm, you don't think in election cycles or headlines or polling. You think in seasons. You think in generations. In what you leave behind to those who come after you. And that's why, here on the farm, I am now launching Restore Britain as a national political party. I'm now going to...
Look at this motherfucker on the British farm, cuzzy, in his hunting gear. He's got shotties in the barn, bruv, blowing away those pheasants so he can fill his family's belly, bruv. This is as British as it gets.
To dedicate my life to finding, organising, funding and providing hundreds of qualified candidates to present to the British people at the next general election. This process has already started, with invitations being issued to patriots in aligned political parties, Reform, the Conservatives, the SDP, Advance, and more. In local politics, we will work in partnership with localised political parties, such as Great Yarmouth First, that have the best interests of their residents at heart, combining our forces at the next general election. The men and women standing for Restore in that election will not be politicians. I promise you that.
Facts!
They will not be failed ministers. They will not be tainted by failures of the past. They will be from business, from the military, from science, from medicine, from education, from industry, representing real communities up and down the country. Every single one will be from well outside the existing political establishment.
Bro, this backdrop is so radicalizing. Let's go.
And every single one will understand the difficult decisions that need to be taken. Because there are no easy fixes. I'm not going to tell you comforting lies about the condition of our country. I have only ever been honest with the British people, and I will be straight with you now. What is necessary will be incredibly painful. But for the first time in a very long time, voters will have a genuine alternative which is truthful with them about the scale of what now has to be done.
Deportations!
The first priority is to control who comes to our country.
Yep.
And more importantly, who stays in our country.
Yep.
Restore Britain will not just stop mass immigration.
Yep.
We will reverse it.
Yep.
Every single illegal migrant will be securely detained and then deported.
Yep.
The message will be unrelenting.
Unrelenting.
If you are in this country without our permission, you will be removed.
Damn straight.
In the foreseeable future, far more people must leave Britain than arrive. If a foreign national is unable to speak English, lives in social housing, claims benefits, refuses to work, fails to integrate.
These are legal migrants in inverted commas. More than 50% of council houses go to foreigners and not British people. All of that lot, he's talking to you.
Commits crime or even actively hates our way of life and wishes to do us harm, then they must leave or be made to leave.
Oh, those hate crimes that you tried to lock us up for? We're turning the tables on your ass, bitch. You hate England? Get the fuck out under the rules that you created.
Restore Britain will make our communities safe again for women and children. That I promise you.
Hell yeah.
If that means millions go, then millions go.
Millions!
We're constantly told that the economy needs vast swathes of low-skilled migrants.
Massive fake news.
We know that's simply not true.
Yep.
What we need is to get millions of healthy Brits back into work.
Yep.
A radical overhaul of how welfare is delivered.
Yep.
Protecting those in genuine need, but not funding healthy shirkers to live off the back of hard-working men.
Into my veins.
If you can work, you must work.
Yes.
It really is that simple. Restore Britain will be abundantly clear. If you consistently refuse work, then you will lose your benefits.
Yes.
We will punish indolence, and more importantly, we will reward success. We will provide vast economic incentives for men and women to start businesses, generate opportunities, build wealth, and create self-sufficient families. Standing here today on the farm, I know exactly what it means to deal with energy bills, labour shortages, regulation, unproductive paperwork, planning restrictions, tax, and endless uncertainty. The state has definitively become the enemy of the people.
It's so fucking true. Like, no one can actually stop this guy because all he speaks is the truth. You can't lose. You can't lose with the truth.
Restore Britain will burn away suffocating taxes on work and enterprise. We will slash unnecessary regulation. We will dismantle bloated quangos and the overbearing HR culture, we must crush parasitic Britain.
Yep,
We will
parasites.
restore long-term, stable, logical policy so that businesses can plan and invest and grow again. But Restore Britain is about much more than numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about who we are as a nation and who we are as a people. Britain is not just an economy. Britain is not just an idea.
No.
Britain is not just a passport.
Nope.
Britain is a nation. Britain is a people, our people. And Restore Britain will never allow that to be erased.
This is like kryptonite to the communist evil of the Labour Party, who talk about diversity is our strength, replacing the native populace that made us the greatest empire the world has ever seen. It's all about the nation, bruv. Fuck all that importing millions of people from backwards, unproductive cultures who haven't made shit in millennia. It's time to put the British people first, and it's time to boot out all the scroungers who the British people are paying for when the British people can barely even afford a meal. Let's do it, Rupert.
We will celebrate our Christian heritage and the identity that built and shaped this country. Responsibility, restraint, forgiveness, duty, and fairness.
Fairness,
In
because
short, a high-trust society.
paying for millions of third world migrants against the will of the people is a tyranny, and it is not fair.
That will mean defending our culture. That will mean resisting the relentless creep of radical Islam.
That will mean resisting the relentless creep of radical Islam. Do you fucking hear that? That's what it means, and that's what we will do.
That will mean banning the burqa,
That will mean banning the burqa,
outlawing Sharia law,
outlawing Sharia law,
blocking cousin marriages,
blocking cousin marriages,
and reimposing our Christian-based rule of law.
and reimposing our Christian-based rule of law. Did you hear that, Home Office?
Restore Britain government would legislate to ensure that no halal or kosher slaughter on British soil. This is Britain, and we will do things our way. This political party now exists for one reason: to restore Britain, to make it a better, safer, and more prosperous place for British men and women to.
And that involves deporting millions of immigrants, because you know where I live? I live in Japan. Do you know how much crime I have witnessed in the 17 years I have been living here? Zero! Do you know how many asylum seekers Japan let in last year? Under 100!
Raise their families. It will be difficult and it will be painful. But I assure you, it is possible. I hope you will consider joining me on this journey and becoming a member of our party.
Do it!
It is our country. It is now our collective responsibility to act.
And that's, mate.
Together, we will restore Britain. Thank you.
Let's go, Rupert! Right, see, I didn't pop the champers because it's just the beginning, but I did get the cigar. So let's give us a reason to pop the champers. Let's get this guy elected. It's going to change absolutely everything. So this is the guy who could restore Britain if he's voted in. Quote: "If you want mass deportations, and I mean real mass deportations, vote Restore Britain." That is his policy. Do you see the parallels with Trump? Now, Restore Britain, his political party, has a website, and we're going to go on over to that now. And according to Britain is Broken, the website crashed after being overwhelmed with new members. Since Rupert Lowe's announcement, tens of thousands of people are trying to join Restore Britain. People demand change. So this is the website. So if you're in England and you want to save your country and turn it back into something normal, not resembling a literal chapter from George Orwell's 1984, go to restorebritain.org.uk. They have an important message on the front, and he's explaining that he's going to run to become Prime Minister, and he goes through his policies. So go and read that now, because it's absolutely fascinating if you want to get into all the details. And you can join them here. Now, I have already joined Restore, and I'm proud of it. Now, there's people out there who are thinking about voting for Reform. Do not do that. Do not vote for Reform. Reform is a similar party to Restore, but it's milk toast. It doesn't do the things that is required in order to restore the UK to its former glories. A place that's safe, a place that's innovative, a place that's productive, a place that's welcoming, a place that's fair. It will not do that. It will kick the can down the road. And to all the people saying, oh, now there's a lot of right-wing parties and they're all going to cannibalize the vote and Labour are going to get back into power. If that's the case, then so be it. Because the only thing that's going to restore the UK is someone like Rupert Lowe, and just delaying it, there's no point in doing that. If we're at the point where starting a new party that will actually fix the problem, will cannibalize the vote and delay the inevitable bit longer, which is fixing England, then so be it. That's just a result of how far down the wrong path we've gone, and it's going to be extremely painful coming back. But I'm going to explain to you why you should not vote for Reform. So first of all, we've got Rupert Lowe here. Rupert Lowe, proper alpha. Look,
everything that we do should be
man-spreading, sitting there, absolute boss. The guy on the other side, crossing his legs like a woman. He's a bit beta. He's a kind of a cartoonish character, and he doesn't have the conviction required to take us over the line and restore Britain. Now, I'm going to tell you why Reform are not going to do the job. Save this fucking video and show it to people who are thinking about voting for Reform to remigrate and deport. Show it to people who are concerned about the rise of Islam in the West. Show it to people who are concerned about the fact, don't shoot the messenger, in 2025, not just 90%, not just 95%, 100% of population growth in the UK was down to foreigners. 100%. 100%. 100. Show this video to people who want to save the UK, who want Britain's population of the native British to increase. Because Nigel Farage is not going to do that. Here's a video of Nigel Farage saying mass deportations are a political impossibility, unlike Rupert Lowe, who's now running for Prime Minister.
These people need to go, don't they? And by saying that you don't support, mass deportations...
If I say I support mass deportations, that's all anybody will talk about for the next 20 years. So it's pointless even going there.
So right? It's a rhetorical problem.
It's a political impossibility to deport hundreds of thousands of people.
That's saying the UK's cooked. Like, the reason things look so Orwellian now is because population replacement has continued at a logarithmic rate, and it's accelerated so much that now we're inside it, and it's almost becoming normalized. That's why that is so... The guy who's supposed to save Britain and deport people is saying we can't really do mass deportations. No, actually, yes, we fucking can, and we have to do it right now. And that's what Rupert Lowe says he'll do. This is the party that's leading in the polls. If there was a general election today, these people will probably win. And the mandate that the people are giving this guy is to deport all the foreigners that were brought in against every single desire of the British people. If you look at every poll since polls were constructed since the 50s, the English people, even on the left, have consistently voted against mass migration. It only looks extreme deporting them now because of these extreme policies that have been carried out over decades. We now have to reverse them in a small, concentrated time slot, if you will, for want of a better expression. Now we're at the end game of that. If we don't reverse it now, it is gone forever. It is gone forever. And this guy's saying it's too late, because it nearly is, but he's not willing to change it. You heard him there. He said he will not do mass deportations. Okay. Here is now a clip of Nigel Farage admitting he selected a London mayoral candidate to target the Muslim voting bloc.
We've got a Muslim woman who's going to stand for us for the Mayor of London contest against Sadiq Khan. So no, there are plenty of members of the Muslim community who will vote for reform, support reform. The difference here, of course, is that for many, many years, the Muslim vote was viewed by Labour as being a block vote. They turned out and voted for Labour in their droves. That has changed a lot.
You've had to...
Okay, so basically, he needs the Muslim voters. If we're at the point where we need Muslim voters, the country is already finished. The Muslims in England literally create a net negative to society in terms of taxes. They take out more than they put in. Don't shoot the messenger. ONS, official government statistics, just released that information. Go and look it up. He's saying we need to pander to those people that are a permanent left-wing socialist voter base. He is not going to deport people. Do not vote for... These are the people who are leading in the polls. We got 3 years to get Rupert Lowe to the top. Another reason why Nigel Farage will not restore Britain to its former glories and will not commit to mass deportations. Listen to this on LBC.
Does he agree with non-stunned meat such as kosher and halal?
I don't like it.
Should it be banned?
I don't like it.
Should we only do it the traditional fashion in this country?
Do you know what, Nick? I think we've got to a point where the size...
Why weren't you... Dude, the dishonesty is so fucking clear. All you have to do is tell the truth. Yes, we're going to ban halal. Yes, we're going to ban Sharia law. Those are wrong. Those are antithetical to the British way of life. Every single country where that is the majority is a backwards, unproductive vortex, unless it's sitting on oil. And even then, it's still a fucking vortex. Look at Iran. This guy's pandering to them because he needs their vote. If we're at the stage, we need these people's votes. England is already finished. Rupert Lowe said he will commit to banning Sharia law, banning halal. He said it there in his campaign promise on his first video when he announced his political party in his run to Prime Minister in 2029, Restore Britain. You see it there. Do not vote for these people. Do not do it. Okay, here's Nigel waving the white flag again on Islam. And I fucking know reform voters. They all want a reduction in the Muslim immigration to the UK because they're disproportionately on benefits. They do not integrate with society. They do not go to pubs. They do not drink alcohol. They do not eat bacon. They don't produce. I went to Whitechapel on a holiday back to London in December, one of the most Muslim heavy areas in London. Dude, it was all like nail bars, transfer money, like back to Africa, kind of money laundering fronts. It was halal shops. All of it was derelict. It was all like socially funded. It was all universities. We're going to pay for you to come here. Derelict shops. It's a socialist enclave. And to people who are saying it's not a colony, it's a parallel society of people who live by their own rules and laws with no native British people there at all. At all. So people don't want that. People don't want people who don't integrate into the country. Out here in Japan, I respect it. I don't try to change it. I don't try to change their religion. I don't take out more than I put in. But unfortunately, certain demographics who come to the UK, if you look at the statistics, they take out more than what they put in. Nigel Farage is capitulating to it here. Another video where he capitulates.
We have a Muslim population in Britain growing by about 75% every 10 years.
You can see where it's going. He needs their votes. If this is the policy, UK is already dead.
If we politically alienate the whole of Islam, we will lose.
Bro, do I need to show you any more about Reform UK and Nigel Farage? I don't think I do, bruv. So Farage is going to be part of the Uniparty. He's probably, if he gets into power, it won't be as bad as the Conservatives who oversaw the biggest influx of migrants in the history of the United Kingdom. But it will be like that light because he needs that voting bloc. For example, in his reference to the 7/7 Muslim bombings in the UK, he refused to mention the word Islam. He said the lesson of the 7/7 terror attack is that we must not allow extremist ideologies into our country. Now, the policy head of Reform is a Muslim himself. And this is what the people in the UK are tired of fucking seeing, is this Uniparty. You cannot tell me the progressive politics have not completely influenced and corrupted the Conservative Party in the UK. You had like a female prime minister, then you had like an Indian prime minister. What was his fucking name? And then you had Suella Braverman in there. Now you have Kemi Badenoch. She's not even British. I am in Japan. If I have a kid with another white British woman, the Japanese will laugh at you if you say that my kid is Japanese. Kemi Badenoch is like a Nigerian. The Conservative Party, just looking at them, British people feel like these are not my people. Don't shoot the messenger, but ethnicities identify and vote for each other, as proved by the fact that all Muslims in the UK always vote for Muslim candidates. And the British people are sick and tired of seeing that. What do we have over at Reform? Nigel Farage's boss and co-owner of his own party is Muslim, a proud Muslim. British people are tired of seeing this stuff. That's the guy who's making the policy for Nigel Farage. Completely insane. Rupert Lowe is just an absolute G, bruv. What can I say? What can I say? So here's Nigel Farage on the 26th of May 2024. And he took a very strong line against the influence of Islam on Britain. And then a week later, on the 3rd of June, he announced he was returning as Reform leader. Then 2 weeks after that, on the 19th of June, the guy I just mentioned, Zia Yusuf, donated 200,000 to Farage, and he hasn't been critical of Islam since. Yusuf is essentially, he literally is making the policy for Reform, and he is a Muslim himself. So Reform, when they're talking about 7/7, they say that lives were lost. Look at this. The Islamic bombings in the UK. They said today marks 20 years since the 7/7 attacks. We remember all those whose lives were lost. Lives were lost? Reform doesn't want to offend the Muslim voter base. They will not say, we remember all those who were killed by radical Islamic terrorists. If you can't even say the truth and you have to sweep that under the rug, that kind of shit is going to flourish. And it is. Reform will not even mention it by what it is. They won't even mention. What did Rupert Lowe say? He said lives weren't lost on 7/7. People were murdered. Don't vote for Reform. Do not. On the 27th of August 2025, Nigel Farage said women and children won't be targeted under Reform's deportation plans. Why the hell not? Why not? It's this milquetoast, soft pussyfooting BS that allows this to happen. If you leave the door open even a tiny bit, these sociopathic, low IQ, other mate ucker phase are going to bust through the door, take advantage and get as many benefits as they can. If you say we won't deport women and children, what's going to happen? You're going to have the same shit at the US border where people bring children just to get in and then they just abandon the children. Just stop it. I'm sorry, but if you came in illegally, you've got to go. You have got to go. Full stop. Other reasons not to vote for Reform on BBC News. Reform defends selection of Bangladeshi candidate. Dude, no foreign people should be able to become politicians in the UK. In Japan, again where I'm at, how many British politicians are there? Zero, because it's not a fucking country. It's not our country. Reform are already becoming part of the Uniparty. They are not the answer. Rupert Lowe is the answer. He is the answer. So, we got Zia Yusuf, a Muslim in Reform UK, running the show. We got Layla Cunningham and Zia Yusuf. What's his background? Born in Scotland to Sri Lankan immigrant parents. So again, if I have a kid in Japan, it is not Japanese. This guy was born in Scotland, but his parents weren't British. He is not British. He is running Reform. That's the guy running Reform. He's head of policy. Head of policy. Suella Braverman, she's gone over to Reform. So look, this is Zia Yusuf, head of policy for Reform. Reform keep on employing Muslim candidates. This is the thing we're sick of. We're sick of seeing people who are not British lead the party. Kemi Badenoch, leader of the Conservative Party. How is this person British? She's as British as I am Japanese, dude. She just isn't. We're tired of this Uniparty nonsense. So we've got Suella Braverman, who's now going on over to Reform. This person is Indian. This person is not, I'm sorry, she's not British. She's not a British ethnicity. Actually, I'm not sorry, because this whole apology bullshit is why we're getting taken advantage of. This is the party that's leading in the polls that are saying they're going to mass deport. This is what it looks like at the end of 1984, where Winston gets shot with a metaphorical bullet in his head And he loves the slavery. He loves his reprogramming. He accepts the world that he's been told to accept. We've been told diversity is our strength. Diversity is our strength. English is evil. White people are evil. White males are evil. What's the end result? It's looking at you being replaced and then going, do you know what? This is normal. And the new generation of kids growing up with this, bombarded with propaganda in Marxist schools and going, this is normal. This is not normal. What is normal? You go look at the Japanese diet, see what the Japanese politicians look like. They look like they're Japanese. And that's why everyone's coming to this country, why I reside, because it is Japanese and nothing else. If it wasn't Japanese and it was influenced by other cultures to a huge degree, so we don't really have sushi, we don't really have ramen, we don't really have okonomiyaki, we don't really have samurai, we don't have all this shit, nobody would come here because it's not Japanese anymore. I'm not saying have no immigration. The reason Japan is so powerful is because it did open up its borders in the Meiji era. It got Western technology and it revolutionized itself. But you do not need to import infinity third world migrants in order to use technology. There is such a thing called trade, and we can trade with people without importing loads of people who are going to sponge off the taxpayer, to the point where your country will look, act and sound different. If this happened to any other country, see like Palestine, oh, it's a fucking genocide. See South Africa, oh, it's a fucking genocide. But when it happens to the UK, it's happening and it's good. So we're sick of seeing this shit, and that's why we're going to vote for fucking Rupert Lowe. I'm tired of it. And I've been covering American politics for so fucking long, and it's been building up to this moment. So we covered it, and the Trumpster won, and it's all fucking good, and he's doing what he can, and it's still quite black pill, but it's way better than it was. If you just look at the fucking immigration numbers alone. But now it's time to get fucking serious, and it's time to save the UK, because without the UK, you would never have America. You'd never have fucking human rights, and slavery would still be happening. We are the greatest fucking country in existence in the history of the universe. And now it's time to save that shit. It really fucking is. And don't count the Brits out, because you think we're on the ropes. You think we're going to go quietly into the night. Well, you've got another thing coming, motherfucker. So you take a cursory glance at history, and that will give you a little taster of what's coming when we take our fucking country back from these communist scumbags who've taken over by trying to import a new voter base on our fucking dime. It's our time, and Rupert Lowe is going to spearhead that shit. I promise you that. Until the casket. So this woman who's moved on over to Reform, she was part of the Conservative Party, and when she was part of them, she oversaw 1.2 million migrants coming in, flooding the country with migrants. She is part of Reform. Do not vote for Reform. Do not vote for Reform. It's going to be more of the same. She oversaw the immigration crisis. This person, Welsh choir girl. And Reform can't even get it together. My American friends, if you are watching, the head of policy for Reform, Zia Youssef, who now is employing that woman from the Conservative Party who destroyed Britain when they had a mandate not to let in any more migrants. He tweeted this out about his new employee 3 years ago. He basically said, when all this mass migration happened, when there's like all these Afghans secretly coming into the UK, and the UK covered that shit up with a super injunction with your tax money, so you wouldn't even know who you're funding and who's destroying your community. He said, who was in government? Suella Braverman. He said the person he just employed destroyed the UK. Why would you vote for these people? It's going to be the same again. All the people that oversaw the destruction of the UK, the Conservatives, they're now moving to Reform, who have a Muslim as head of policy, creating all of their policies. Wild shit, dude. This guy was the Prime Minister of the UK. Do you see how fucked up the UK is getting? That's like seeing a British person as the Prime Minister of Japan. If you saw that, what the fuck would you actually think? You would think Japan is broken. Japan is over. That's where we're at. This is how bad mass migration has gotten in the UK. And Reform has loads of Muslim candidates. Plenty of Reform politicians have been quoted saying all kinds of crazy stuff that's completely against the will of the British people. For example, we got Richard Tice. He's deputy at Reform. He was quizzed about population replacement and mass migration. Looking at the facts, again, don't shoot the messenger, but by 2050, white British are going to be a minority in their own country. Do you know what Richard Tice said? Deputy of Reform, quote, "I'll be long gone before then." Okay, fine. Then we've got Jenrick over at Reform. He said before, quote, "Bringing Afghans to Britain is a national Do you think it's a national project? Do you think Rupert Lowe would say anything approaching that? Never, bruv. Never. So this is the deputy leader of Reform. This is why you should join Restore Britain. If you're a member of Reform, cancel it. I cancelled it. You can cancel it too. Join Reform, because this is what deputy leader of Reform UK just voted for. An assisted dying bill back in 2025, June 21. These BS progressive policies that you see in Canada, that you see in Australia, they're all turning into communist vortexes. Richard Tice, again at Reform, quote, "We must protect those brave Afghans who helped us and their families by settling them in the UK. Simple. No ifs and buts." No, get them the fuck out. No one's got any money in the UK. It fucking stinks of weed everywhere. There's crime everywhere. No one can afford a fucking house. And the taxpayer's going to fund a bunch of Afghans from a war-torn shithole where it's unvetted, where they have crazy culture, where they do things to kids I can't even say on this program. Are you serious? Deputy leader of Reform said that. You got to be kidding me, bro. Do not vote for Reform. He supported the Afghan resettlement scheme in the UK. Deputy leader of Reform. Here's a tweet from that guy. He said, "Does it mean that many thousands of Afghans who have fled and claimed asylum here can now return in safety, or would they be in danger?" So he wants mass migration to the UK. And the crazy thing is, Wolf on X, he posted this out in August last year, and he said, "The majority of the public don't even trust Reform on immigration. Only 37% do." This is an Ipsos poll. Look at that. 36% trust Reform, and they're the party who was supposed to re-migrate and deport. It's just not going to happen. Now we've got Reform chairman, Dr. David Bull. He gave an interview to The Telegraph. He said there are cases where Reform would have men in women's prisons. He says Farage looks at the Muslim policy director of Reform, Yusuf, with parental affection. He says politics is one in the centre ground, and that Habib and Lowe are going down a rabbit hole with their obsession with Islam and immigration. Bro, do I need to give you any more evidence not to vote for Reform and to fucking sign up to Restore Britain right now if you're British and vote for Rupert Lowe? It is time. I'm here for this. We're taking our fucking country back is what we're doing. Okay, check this out. Online Safety Act, that Orwellian thing that basically means you have to give your ID to so much as glance at the internet. Guess who co-created that? Guess who? Boris Johnson loyalist and liberal Tory Nadine Dorries. And she just defected to Reform UK. Wow, we've got the huge mass migration, and now we've got the censorship, which is associated with any tyrannical regime at Reform. Absolutely wonderful. Don't vote for them. Do not do it. Reform also called for a councillor to be sacked over pro-Tommy Robinson posts from over 10 years ago. So Reform won't touch Tommy Robinson. My opinion of Tommy Robinson, the guy just loves his country. He's been unfairly persecuted. I think he loves the spotlight. I mean, I do too. The guy's, he always makes it about himself, and he's a bit of an impish, cartoonish figure. But underneath it all, he just loves his country. I mean, come on, man. The guy's done nothing wrong compared to like the grooming gangs and all that shit. That's the real problem. And that's the thing we should be demonizing and putting the spotlight on. Reform won't even touch it. Elon Musk, he'll retweet a Tommy Robinson post if he agrees with it. And that's the whole point of free speech. Reform won't touch him. Another reason why they're not the party. I could just keep going on and on. I could keep going on and on. But I won't bore you to death. Now, as I said before, the danger here is that we've got all these different parties now to vote for, and they could cannibalize the vote, and it means that basically Labour could return to power. But if that means we have to vote for a Uniparty that's going to fuck us over anyway, like Reform, it means it's too late. The only thing we can do is vote for the right party, and that is Restore Britain. I don't care how long and painful it is, that's what she said. It just has to be done sometimes. But Rupert Lowe, guess what, American friends? If you didn't know this, he was part of Reform, and they kicked him out. What does that tell you about Reform? So I've been saying for a long time that we need Rupert Lowe to become Prime Minister. Here's a post from me back in August 2025. I said he's going to be Prime Minister. I don't know how the F they're going to do it, but it's destiny. Stay healthy, Rupert. So I've been calling for this for a long time. That's why I got the cigar today. I said, Elon Musk, it's time to get behind Rupert Lowe. There's still time. Make this happen. Save the UK. That was last year in November. Now, if Elon Musk gets behind Rupert Lowe, this could actually happen because he's got enough money to make it possible. The difficult thing is you have to get all these MPs and stuff, and Reform, they're insanely popular in all the polls, but they only got 5 seats in the general election. Only that. You need tons and tons and tons of finance. So Elon Musk has said he won't support Nigel Farage. Another reason not to do it. He knows what's up. He's the guy who essentially helped Trump get elected. He calculated that they needed to win Pennsylvania. He put all his resources in there and they did it. Elon Musk said, don't vote for Farage for the same reasons I'm telling you now. And he put his weight behind Habib. Now, Habib is part of Advance UK and has similar policies to Restore. Now, the difference is, with the greatest of respect to Habib, because I actually made an effort to watch his videos recently, he's good, but he just does not have the personality. He's a little bit, he doesn't have it. He doesn't have the Trump factor and he doesn't have the Lowe factor. So if you had a party with the policies of Advance, but the personality of Rupert Lowe and the authenticity of Rupert Lowe, it would smash it. And now we do have that. So I think, Habib, you've got to step aside with Advance and you need to let Rupert Lowe go through. And this will never happen, but if Farage was really serious about saving the UK, he would support Rupert Lowe and he would step down. Because if libertarians cannot get together and agree on things going forward and they're going to cannibalize each other's votes, then the left are going to win because they are organized. They're like a relentless hydra. They always, for example, in the House, in Congress, in America, Democrats, they all vote for the same issues, even if they agree on them or not. Trump always gives them credit where credit's due. He says at least they stick together. If we can't agree moving forward that England needs to be saved and we put our petty differences aside, then the other side is going to win. So some people are going to have to step down. It's not going to happen with Reform, but Advance, I think it's going to have to happen if there's any chance of saving the UK. Steve Laws made it be known recently on X that Rupert was polling at 10% before he even had a party, and he says it's so over for Reform. And if you look at Rupert's post on X, because he speaks the truth, because what he says resonates deep within all of us in the UK about how we're really feeling, about how the establishment have gone against our will for generations now, then it's just, it gets the most retweets because it's instantly retweet that. Like, that's how I'm feeling. That's real. That's true. His numbers are more than Nigel Farage's when he posts things out. His numbers are way more than Keir Starmer's. And Rupert Lowe actually gets stuff done. He's not the Prime Minister, but he will do freedom of information requests and he'll send messages and make phone calls to various politicians, which due to the bureaucracy of the UK, by law, they have to respond to it. So he'll bring the spotlight onto all these issues that other people like Reform aren't doing when they won't mention Islam by name on 7/7 and don't want to offend the voter bloc. Rupert Lowe will bring attention to it, put it into the spotlight, and he's really making a difference. And he'll also do polls online, which, if they get 100,000 votes, have to be debated in Parliament. And he's done that plenty of times, especially with the Muslim grape gangs. And that is central to all of this, because people just want the truth. And there's nothing more nefarious and further from the truth than the Muslim grape gangs. There was recently a vote in Parliament, a debate which was triggered by Rupert Lowe, where the majority of the British Parliament voted against an inquiry into the grape gangs. That's the kind of untruth, if you will, for want of a better expression, that you feel is really at the heart of the corruption of the establishment. And if that can be exposed, so many of these people are going to be held to account for what they've done, and at the very least covering up these crimes. Rupert Lowe's done more than anyone else to bring attention to this, and he's not even Prime Minister, and he didn't even have a party before he did this. So if he's doing all of these things before he's even Prime Minister, before he's even got a party, man, with the funding, with Musk, with the party, and if he keeps on speaking the truth, it's fucking game over, bro. You can't stop that. And he's the one who's mainly responsible for shattering the Overton window and making it acceptable to just talk about normal things that have been made taboo by the establishment, left and right. Because if the average person does it in the UK, we literally do not have a Second Amendment and free speech laws, and we can and will be arrested for speaking our mind, even if it's not calling for violence. Rupert Lowe, because he has diplomatic immunity, he can say all of these things, and then people retweet and say stuff in the comments, and they have immunity too. The guy is extremely powerful, and he just gets shit done. We got to support this guy. We got to support him. So that is what is happening, my friend. Population replacement is increasing at exponential logarithmic rates, if you will. In the UK, for example, there are now more Indians, 3 million, than native Welshmen in Britain. And it's not racist to point that out. See, the progressives are kind of genius because they've ensconced their policy, which is get as much power as possible, with the veneer of like race relations and immigration and helping migrants. So that essentially, in tandem with the hate speech laws, makes it illegal to criticize those people. If you criticize them because they hide within this race relations veneer, they will say that's a hate crime because you're criticizing race relations, when essentially you're just criticizing the party. So they have this immunity that they hide behind. Rupert Lowe is shattering that, and I'm excited to see what's going to come. Hence the cigar. Population replacement is insane. No one would be happy with that. 3 million Indians versus 2 million Welshmen. There's more Indians in the UK than Welsh people. It's fucking insane. I wouldn't even want to see that in Japan with like British people. If you had like more British people than a certain like ethnic sect of Japanese, then like, why the fuck am I even here in Japan? Because then it's just going to be like the country that those people came from. Absolutely mad. So there you go, my friends. Rupert Lowe has announced his intention to run for Prime Minister of the UK. I've been waiting for this to happen. Now is the time. There's 3 years until the general election, and I'm waiting to see who's going to throw their hat into the ring. The Overton window is being shattered. So now that the British are being riled into action, we like to leave it quite late. Once we get involved in something, and we're smart as hell, and we're industrious as hell, and we're efficient and productive as hell, you're going to see some fireworks, cuzzy, from today on in. Really, it's going to be very exciting. I expect Musk to announce he's going to fund Rupert Lowe. I really expect that to happen. And then with even more of a spotlight on Rupert Lowe and what he's saying, more people are going to feel less intimidated to come out and say what I am saying here. And then a trickle is going to turn to a flood. And then once the British are mobilized, you are fucked. You are fucked. And you can gaslight. You can throw all the fucking derogatory slurs out there. You can say, it doesn't matter what the fuck you say, because we are unstoppable and we are going to win. So there you go. Rupert Lowe running for Prime Minister. He started his party, Restore Britain. I recommend to go on over there. And one final bit of evidence just to show you how much better Restore is than Reform. I joined Reform, and then Nigel Farage flip-flopped on immigration. So I said to them, I want to renounce my membership. You can see that here. So I sent them an email. I said, I used Apple Pay to pay for the membership. And I'm asking them about the account and stuff like that. This is before I removed the payment. But anyways, I sent them a mail in September. And then they replied in February next year. So it took them 5 months to reply. I think some of the time into that waiting period, I've said I wanted to cancel. So they basically wouldn't cancel my account for 3 months at least. And they didn't reply for 5 months. And then they finally canceled my account. And they sent an email saying they did. And then they tried to bill me again. So it took them 5 months to reply, which is absolutely crazy. But I know here it is. That was restore. So you can see it here. I said to them, I took 3 months. Yeah, so like I said, 3 months to cancel. Look at this, right? I said, I cancelled my membership over 6 months ago. There's no way I can cancel myself online. An email you sent confirmed you had cancelled. Now I'm receiving an automated email saying I'm going to be charged again. Please confirm so I won't be charged. So you can see that's in December 2025. And then in March, 3 months later, they said, sorry to note that you've decided to cancel your membership. This has now been processed. And then they tried to fucking charge me. So they're an absolute fucking shambles. Let's compare that to Rupert Lowe's Restore. So with them, I couldn't work out how to log in because I basically gave them money, then couldn't log in. I sent them a message on September the 6th, 1 day later, not like 5 months or 3 months of waiting, 1 day later. And look how they talked to me. They said, Dear Johnny, it's great to have you as a supporter and to know you're trying to join us. We cannot find a membership number with this email address. Is your app? So this is all handwritten. This is not even AI. You can tell. Is your Apple Pay linked to the alternate email? Blah, blah, blah. If your payment has left, dude, that, you know, they're organized, they're on the ball, they're receptive, they're personal. They got it fucking all. So I'm all about that restore, and we're going to fucking do it. We're going to fucking do it. So this is day one, everyone. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe and all that BS because it helps with the algorithm. We're deeply shadow banned for these reasons. We've been talking about this for years. And if you're a regular here, I really appreciate you. If you like this video, I have to make these at the expense of a real job because it's really fucking important. And well, I'd rather be bankrupt and broke in a libertarian system than have money in a socialist hellhole. So that's why I make these videos at the expense of a real job or real income. But if you can donate, it obviously helps me to make them, because if you don't donate, I have to find other ways to make money at the expense of making these videos. You can donate on streamlabs.com/Johnny Massacre, patreon.com/Johnny Massacre, or paypal.me. Give me a hell yeah. And that's pretty much it for today. So I'm curious to hear what you are thinking about all of this, and Rupert Lowe, my British friends, but also American people. Americans, maybe you've never heard of Rupert Lowe, so I'd be interested to hear your thoughts, or maybe some of you Americans out there know a little bit about him but learned a bit more today. What do you think about the parallels between the British system and the American system, the parallels between Rupert Lowe and Trump and all that kind of stuff? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me see what you're saying.
Johnny Massacre says, donate. Link to have your message read out live. Chris the Campbell says, hell yeah. Chris the Campbell says, I love this guy already. BrWR says, imagine half your population is in BRD. Spiriflora Paula says, bro, if Rupert wins this. Spiriflora Paula says, if Rupert actually wins this. Spiriflora Paula says, it would be incredible. Chris the Campbell says, looks like my backyard. Spiriflora Paula says, I sincerely hope he wins, man. Spiriflora Paula says,
go.
If he wins this, Canada has hope. Spiriflora Paula says, this guy is amazing. Edward T91 says, hey there, Johnny. Edward T91 says, I will be praying for this man and for Britain. BrWR says, lol, he has my attention. Edward T91 says, yes, I agree with Nathaniel Settlers. BrWR says, those invaders already have weapon cache all over waiting for mass deportation. They are not going to walk away. Milkatima Kesting says, howdy. Chris the Campbell says, you need some pixelated sunglasses to go with that cigar. Edward T91 says, yes, Chris lol. Lim Shelsu says, preach Johnny. Milkatima Kesting says, I still don't know what any of the parties in England mean. Zlen Omega says, hey Milky. Milkatima Kesting says, howdy Zlen. Zlen Omega says, hey Johnny. Zlen Omega says, hey Edward. Edward T91 says, it's Zlen. Zlen Omega says, and the rest of chat hello. Edward T91 says, hey Zlen. Milkatima Kesting says, hey well, so you'd leave if I ran for Prime Minister in Japan. Edward T91 says, I thought that was Mamdani. Zlen Omega says, Edward, you still have the tape of love. Lim Shalsu says the Mohammedans have overcome reform. Edward T91 says, yes Zlen lol. Bradwr says, he's starting to believe. Lim Shalsu says England is for the English.
Fuck yeah!
Lim Shalsu says Tommy Robinson would make a great American. Lim Shalsu says you don't need Elon, you need a leader who will make the UK English again. Lim Shalsu says God save the UK. Bradwr says, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Bradwr says, admirable. Mark Hatfield and it says, I hope the UK gets it together. Bradwr has donated $19.99 and says, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, become a member, donate.
I don't care what anyone thinks. This is how I feel. I love England so fucking much, and just to see what's happened to it and just passively accept this horrible exponential decline has been it's been a lot. And you know, when something's so kind of stressful and traumatizing, you repress it. You just try not to think about it, but it's always there. So I said to myself, I'll only make a video like this if I can finally see something that's actually happening, and it looks like, well, this is the locus of that. So yeah, that's why it's all coming out. Make no excuses. And I think a lot of people can relate. It just feels so emotional watching your country be destroyed, especially coming back to England this year from Japan. Come back the last 3 years. This year it's especially bad. Being on the train, it's just less than half of people who are like me. And like I said, any other country, if that happened to an African country where suddenly there's all these like white people there and it's more than half the people, all the leftists who love this mass migration, they're going to be saying, man, that's like population replacement, that's genocide and all that stuff. Just strip it all away. Those people, they only want one thing. They only want one thing, and it's power. And they get it by importing a new socialist voter base and paying those people to vote for them. And then they can hide behind those people and call you racist for questioning it. But really what they're doing is they're calling you a slur for questioning them and trying to make that illegal. That is the only thing that's happening. And I've researched this for years. It is just Marxism. That's all it is. It's Marxism in effect. Marxism, what is it? It's, Karl Marx created the Communist Manifesto in London, of all places. Very fitting that now it's kind of taken over there. And it is oppressor versus oppressed. And it used to be the case that it was an economic theory whereby the landowners were the oppressors and the peasants were the oppressed. So the communists mobilized the peasants to steal the fruits of the hardworking landowners who basically created society and then give the power to the communists. But that failed as an economic theory, and that's provably so. If you read Gulag Archipelago by Alexander Solzhenitsyn, it's the most damning indictment of communism as an economic theory ever, to the point where no one ever dared try it again. So the communists from the Frankfurt School, spearheaded by Horkheimer and specifically Herbert Marcuse, when he came over to America, developed a new form of Marxism, neo-Marxism, if you will, where instead of it being an economic theory, where Marxism takes over the infrastructure of society, which is the economy, they decided to take over the culture and everything above the economy, because communism doesn't work as an economic theory, such as science, arts, culture, sports. That's why you see woke shit in video games everywhere. They take over the culture. That's why you see it in schools. That's why you see it in like the latest James Bond video game. That's why you see it in like the Marvel movies. That's why you see it in sports with footballers taking the knee. That's why you see the struggle session with Ratcliffe over at Man United. That's why you see it absolutely everywhere. It's a Marxist system and it benefits the oppressed. That's why in the UK they have special hate speech laws for the oppressed. Really, that gives political immunity to the leftist voter base. It gives them special privileges as long as they sell their souls and vote for the left. It is a Marxist system. It's about getting as much power as possible. That's all it's about. That is what's taken hold in the UK. It's in the education system, it's in the judiciary, and it's in the culture. And that's what's happening. Make no mistake about it. But it's all built on lies. Marxism is just, it's constant lies from start to finish. I just read a book, The Tragedy of Revolution by Dakota, on the Chinese Marxist revolution, and it's just lies all the way through. So they actually can't win if the free speech and free markets are allowed, because people like Rupert Lowe will be more appealing than someone who's lying. It's a Marxist system. All they care about is power. And that was very satisfying, getting that off my chest. So we've had 4,000 views. That is proof positive that there are lots of people out there who feel the same way. Yeah, please make sure to subscribe and whatnot if you are new here. At the end of this stream, you're going to be automatically redirected to a video game stream. So we go from political craziness into just silly video games, because that's really what I like doing, and that's how I kind of stay sane. So we're going to do that in a minute, and you'll be automatically redirected if you want to go on over there and just have a bit of fun, and everything's not so serious now that we got the serious stuff out of the way and we've gotten it off our chest. But I feel like I should send this video to Rupert Lowe's team, because I'm all about it. The whole Trump thing, I wasn't really willing to get involved that much, because what can I do? I can't vote, but I know that America dictates the tempo for the rest of the world. And, Trump can stop the Chagos deal, and Trump can blackmail England and other countries to do what America wants, which is much better than what England wants and the other countries want, under threat of tariffs and stuff like that. But I didn't get involved. But when it comes to the UK, motherfucker, if there's actually a chance to save the country that brought us the British pub, and that brought us Churchill Cuzzy Wuzzy, and brought us drum and bass and fish and chips and fucking Marks and Spencers, right? I'm all in, and you better fucking get ready. Because if this channel gets even the tiniest bit of momentum and manages to escape even 1 foot from the shadow realm, woe betide the Marxist left in the UK, because I'm coming to crush them like the cockroaches that they are. I'm sick and tired of what they've done to everything I love. I can't fucking eat, sleep, shit without seeing some Marxist woke propaganda. Wokeness is over. No, it's fucking not. Every video game I see, every movie I see, even like sports analysis, everything I see, I'm tired of that shit. And I've seen this since 2016 in Force Awakens, Star Wars. That's when I noticed this shift into like Marxism and feminism and left-wing progressivism. It got really radical and really extreme. I'm so tired of it, and I've had to live with it so fucking long that you've created a fucking monster. If you just left me the fuck alone, I wouldn't care about this. But because you've done all that, I've dedicated my life to stopping that. We're going to restore it to the way that it was. The good times, the free markets, free speech. Leave me the hell alone to live my life as I see fit, and just give me the best chance of success for me and my family. And don't steal my money and give it to other people in exchange for their votes and destroy society in the process. So I'm all in on this shit. If this really can happen with Rupert Lowe, I am all in 110% every single day. Seriously. Oh my God. I feel so passionate about it.
Krista Campbell says, there's a lot of British pride in this speech. Makes me wonder if you watched that video. Mark Hatfield and it says, can Trump run for Prime Minister? That would be a hoot.
Did you know what though?
Says, business idea. Start selling red coats, bring that style back. Imagine how badass it would be if all the Brits started walking around wearing 1,700 coats.
I saw some red coats in a charity shop. They're fucking cool. I wanted to buy one. You know, Trump has Scottish ancestry. So I read something online. I don't know if it's true, but apparently that kind of qualified him to be able to run or something. Imagine how fucking awesome that would be. But really, though, we need a Brit. Like, as much as I love... But then he has the ancestry, but we need a Brit in there, I feel. So, yeah, if you're new here, this channel... Yeah, I don't know. If something political... is really happening that's really relevant, I'm just going to cover it immediately like this. Other than that, I don't make videos for the sake of it politically, just to get clicks or whatever, because I just want to have fun. And really, I'm a DJ and a music producer. You can find my song. I have a song with 9 million views. It's called Ultrasound by Johnny Massacre. Go check it out if you're interested. I started off as a creative back in the day. I tried to make a music video like a decade ago, and they refused to make it for woke reasons. And that's when I started to realize, like, I don't even want to be creative and make stuff for an industry if I'm just going to be blackballed for being myself as a free artist, because orthodoxy is like the death of artistry, right? So then I just found like YouTube's a better creative outlet for me. It's, as someone who has a lot of ideas, and it can seem like a mountain to climb when making music and stuff. that, you know, being able to sit down and make a YouTube video without any planning, just off the cuff, is like a great outlet. So that's generally what I do here, but there's a lot more video game stuff as well. So if you see video game content on this channel, don't like unsubscribe or anything. Well, you can if you want, but you know, there will be political stuff coming, but really just like to have a community here of like-minded people that just want to be left alone by government, don't want to be managed from cradle to grave. And like, we might be playing games and stuff, but you can have a chat about whatever you want, and we can just kind of shoot this shit and vent off a bit of steam, because it's very, very hard to say how you really feel in this culture of political correctness, even among family members and friends, right? When I go back to the UK, people still in the UK bubble, talk to my friends, I can't talk about politics because they get triggered and like, you like Trump and blah, blah, blah. So really what this is, it's a community of people who want free speech, who want free markets, who have libertarian principles, who, you know, value individual rights and individual liberties and freedom of speech, freedom to assemble, for all those kind of things. And we can just come together and have a chat and just feel comfortable. And you know, often people on the channel know way more than I do, and they will add things in the comments and stuff like that. And overall, we're going to be a bit happier, I think, as a community, rather than disparate and all over the place. If I was a real G, I would have got the cigar that Churchill actually smoked, which is a Romeo and Julieta Cuban, but they didn't have any. I've got 2 Japanese coffees here, Kazi, the Tullys. But after drinking this mega, as they say in Japan, これがメガコーヒーですね。めちゃくちゃ美味しいです. After drinking that, I don't think I should have any more, or I might lose my mind a little bit. Thanks, Phil. Hope you're doing well, Phil. So yeah, if you do become a member, you can see join in the bottom left, just to the right of my name. That will give you text to speech. So everything you say will actually come on text to speech, like all these mad lads.
BrWR says, wait, I can run, I can be king. BrWR says, welcome Phil. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell.
Brad, you've done a lot for this channel. We've got 4,444 views, and I like the symmetry of that. I like the symmetry. But listen, the next stream we're doing, the gaming stream, we're playing Resident Evil 6, one of the worst games ever made. But we're playing with Ada Wong, my personal Peking Duck Pudding princess, one of the hottest video game characters ever, that could turn a normal person into a weeboo. She's amazing. The character model, she's so hot. She's gorgeous. We're actually playing as her, and it's very funny, because the Japanese developers, being pervy as they are wont to be, have illustrated like her very fine, voluptuous, kind of, not voluptuous, like svelte figure, in just an insane way. So we were having some fun playing that yesterday. So we're going to play that again. So I think that's it. I mean, I could just keep on waffling, but I've given you the main thing. Let's go play some video games now. So hello to all the new people here. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a wonderful Saturday. It's 5:46 p.m. here in Tokyo, Japan. And when the stream ends, you will be automatically redirected to the next stream, where we're going to play Resident Evil 6. And it's going to be very fun. And just, yeah, thank you again for hearing this rant. Just wanted to get it off my chest, and I feel much better for doing that. And much love to all my British friends out there.
91 says, get it, Johnny.
Let's get in there, Cuzzy Wuzzy. Okay, we're going to end the stream now, and I'll see you on Resident Evil 6. Hang around if you just want some chill vibes. Cheers, everyone. Thank you so much.